next we've got Pete Martin, GABS.
Hi, I'm a bit tall, so I'll... You can't hear me. Okay. I'm Pete Martin. I'm from Gloucestershire Against Badger Shooting, or GABS, and there are plenty of members here today. We are the people who organised the Wounded Badger Patrols. Hooray! We have 500 members, and all told, during the Gloucester Cull, we put in 21,000 hours of patrolling and sat monitoring. And that doesn't include the equal and a possibly greater amount of effort put in by our colleagues in the SAB groups, and I'd like to pay again particular tribute to them today and ask for a big cheer for the SAB groups too. Fantastic. Our efforts are entirely voluntary, and although based in Gloucestershire, we have attracted members from all around the country. Despite what the government, the NFU and even the police would like you to think, we are employed, literate, professional, law-abiding, and our cars are definitely taxed. We planned our response to the Cull like a military operation. We prepared maps along with the SABs of the Cull zone. We marked the badger sets on them with the help of our friends in the SAB groups. We marked out the footpaths, and we set up a police liaison group well before the Cull started, and that was very important. Our protest was lawful, and we kept to the law, and it worked. Often we knew more about what was going on than the so-called professionals on the ground, including the police. Some of them got a bit lost, and we had to show them back to their cars, which was funny. We monitored and recorded every patrol, every contact with colours and with the police. We recorded every incident of violence against us and every incident of intimidation by colours. Whilst our actions could not save all the badgers, we undoubtedly prevented thousands more being killed in this senseless Cull. And now that the Cull has stopped, we haven't. We have formed new work groups and are currently holding the police to account and making sure that the criminal offences committed by the colours, and there were many, that we reported to them, are being properly pursued, because they weren't being pursued, and we are making sure that they are. We're also doing the same with our MPs. We went to see our MP recently, and he hadn't even read the Cull licence, he didn't know the Protection of Badgers Act, he didn't know anything, and yet he was trying to encourage the police to arrest more protesters without knowing a damn thing about badgers or the protest. We're also engaged in a well-organised PR campaign to reveal the truth about badgers, along with the rest of the Badger Army. More importantly, we're engaged in preparations for the future. The Cull will go one of two ways. It will either continue or we'll switch to vaccination. And either way, we are prepared. We now know how to fight this Cull on the ground. We're organised. But most importantly, we want to share our experiences with any other groups if they roll out the Cull to new areas in new counties, because they are already applying for licences. And we are very keen for any other group to contact us to find out how to organise patrols on the ground. We have a website called GloucestershireAgainstBadgerShooting.org, and you can find us on the net. It's very important because we definitely want to share our experience with you. Equally, we've got members who are becoming trained vaccinators already, and if it switches to vaccination, then we will all be on the ground helping the trained vaccinators as well. Just 2 bits of paper stuck together here. Lastly, I just wanted to read something. During the dark, cold winter, one of our members sent out an email with a suggestion on it, and he wasn't sure whether it was a good idea, and he was starting to lose heart a bit. And I'm more of a writer than a speaker, so I wrote him a reply which seemed to do the trick, and I'm going to read it out to you now. He thought he was talking rubbish, and I didn't. So I said, "Not talking rubbish, Paul. All the things you mention are factors in the broader picture. Ultimately, the Cull is linked to hunting, shooting, development, etc. But most of all, it is about control of the countryside. The Tory tendency has been chased out of Scotland and Wales and most of the north and most of our big cities. The countryside is their last bastion, and the hunting ban hurt them more than they care to admit. Not because of the foxes, but because townies were telling them what to do on their own land. This cull is part of their fight back. They want the right to do whatever they like on their land and to kill or destroy what they like, whenever they like, and without interference or condemnation from the likes of us, whom they despise. They think we are thick, ignorant and sentimental. They cannot bear the fact that most of us live in the countryside and actually understand its ecology and wildlife better than they do. They hate it that we so easily trash their petty justifications for the things they do. However, much of what they do is informed not by thinking but by custom and practice. That is to say, it is merely traditional. Being naturally conservative, they don't like change. Being naturally arrogant and narcissistic, they don't see why they should change. But public attitudes to killing things have changed a great deal in the last 30 years. This change has left them behind. It has left them culturally retarded. Killing things is their way of solving everything. They think killing things is grown up, responsible and necessary. They think people who say otherwise are soft, immature and irresponsible. They think they know best and everyone else doesn't. So killing badgers is to them the natural solution to BTB. But they have to blame the badgers because otherwise the public would realise that BTB is spreading because of bad farming practices. This cannot be countenanced because it would force them to admit they don't know what they're doing, and worst of all, that the soft, sentimental, lily-livered townies like us are actually right. It would make the public question everything else they do. It would make us ask why our tax money is being used to clear up yet another massive outbreak of an infectious disease when really they should be paying to clear it up. It would involve a huge loss of face and a huge loss of money, and let's face it, it's vital for them to keep the vast gravy train of public money rolling into their bank accounts. But most of all, it would mean a huge loss of control. That's why they're fighting this so hard. That's why Owen Paterson and the Tories are prepared to risk everything, including looking like utter imbeciles, to defend this cup. This is a battle they cannot afford to lose, and they are desperate. But as always, they have totally underestimated the great British public. They cannot fight the truth or science, and they can't fight the real world impracticalities and the costs of culling. The longer this goes on, the more people are drawn into the fight against it. The more the public is aware of the truth, the more they want this cull stopped. And that's what we're doing. So let's keep on at it, because we are winning.